a gossip writer invented a cruel lie about her death that overshadowed her legacy for decades. Maria Guadalupe Villalobos Vélez was born in 1908 in San Luis Potosí, Mexico, into a family that encouraged her performing talents from childhood. By her teens, she was dancing and performing in Mexico City, where her energy, beauty, and natural comedic timing made her a standout. In the 1920s, Hollywood was beginning to notice talent beyond its borders, and Lupe, as she became known, caught the attention of American producers. She arrived in Hollywood in 1927, just as many silent film stars failed to make the transition because their voices didn't match their screen personas, or because they had heavy accents that sound technology couldn't yet handle well. But Lupe's thick Mexican accent became part of her appeal. She played it up, leaning into roles as fiery, passionate Latin women. She had a gift for physical comedy and could steal scenes with a raised eyebrow or a perfectly timed gesture. Her personality was as big as her talent. She was loud, funny, unapologetically herself, in an industry that usually demanded conformity. By the early 1930s, Lupe Vélez was a major star. She appeared in films with Gary Cooper, starred opposite Douglas Fairbanks, and became known as the Mexican Spitfire, a nickname that was both a compliment and a cage. Hollywood loved Lupe's energy, but couldn't see past her ethnicity. She was repeatedly cast as the hot-tempered Latina, the exotic love interest, the passionate stereotype. While she made these roles entertaining through sheer force of personality, she rarely got opportunities to show her full range as an actress. Her personal life was just as dramatic as her screen persona. In 1933, she married Johnny Weissmuller, the Olympic swimmer who had become famous playing Tarzan in films. Their marriage was volatile, passionate, and public. They fought constantly, sometimes physically. The press ate it up, reporting on every argument, every reconciliation, every explosive incident. They divorced in 1938 after 5 years of chaos. Both later acknowledged the marriage had been a disaster, fueled by jealousy, temperament, and two enormous egos colliding. After the divorce, Lupe's career continued with the Mexican Spitfire series, 8 comedy films released between 1939 and 1943, where she played Carmelita Lindsay, a Mexican woman married to an American advocate. The films were popular and kept Lupe working, but they also cemented her typecast. Lupe was in her mid-30s, and Hollywood was moving on. Younger actresses were being promoted. The roles were drying up. Lupe returned to Mexico, where she was still beloved and respected. She starred in Mexican films, including Nana in 1944, an adaptation of Emile Zola's novel. The film showcased her dramatic abilities in ways Hollywood had rarely allowed. But her personal life was unraveling. Lupe had entered a relationship with Harold Raul Marisch, an Austrian actor sometimes called Harry in American press. The relationship was troubled from the start. Accounts suggest it was. In late 1944, Lupe discovered she was pregnant. To understand what this meant, you have to understand 1944. An unmarried woman, especially a public figure, becoming pregnant was a career-ending, reputation-destroying scandal. The stigma was enormous, crushing, inescapable. Women in Lupe's position faced total social ostracism. Lupe was 36 years old. Her Hollywood career had stalled. She was pregnant by a man who reportedly wasn't committed to marrying her. The future looked impossibly bleak. On the night of December 13th, 1944, Lupe took an overdose of Seconal, a powerful barbiturate. She left a suicide note expressing her love for Harold and her despair over the pregnancy. She had carefully prepared herself, wearing an elegant silk nightgown, arranging flowers around her bed, creating a scene that reflected her dramatic nature and her desire to control how she would be found. Her secretary discovered her body the following morning. Lupe Vélez was dead at 36 years old. The press coverage of her death was immediate and sensational. A talented actress, a Hollywood star, a vibrant personality, gone by her own hand because of pregnancy stigma and personal despair. But then something even worse happened to Lupe's memory. In 1965, a writer named Kenneth Anger published a book called Hollywood Babylon, a collection of scandalous Hollywood stories that mixed fact with fiction, rumor with invention. The book was notorious for its lurid, often false accounts of celebrity deaths and scandals. Anger's account of Lupe Vélez's death was particularly cruel. He claimed, with absolutely no evidence, that Lupe had become violently ill after taking the pills, had stumbled to the bathroom, and had died in a humiliating manner with her head in the toilet. The story was graphic, degrading, and designed to be shocking. It was also completely false. The actual died in her bed, exactly as she had planned. There was no evidence for Anger's grotesque version of events. He simply made it up because it was more sensational than the truth. But the lie spread. Hollywood Babylon became a cult classic. The false story about Lupe's death was repeated in articles, books, documentaries, and conversations. For decades, when people mentioned Lupe Vélez, they often referenced Anger's